Guys, this time on Deep Junk, we're going stock car racing in 1952 in a Hudson Hornet. Stick around and witness the magic. Right, guys, I've taken the liberty of popping the Hudson apart. It is our usual suspect, like I said. It's a metal body, plastic base. Body's pretty clean. We do have some marks at the front of the hood there, a little over the front fenders, casting lines. It's got to be some somewhere. Not real noticeable back there on the quarter at the sail panel. Black basic interior, no rear seat, clear glass. Thank you for that. And the chrome base. So this is this build is going to be taking the stock car and making a stock car out of it. So we're pretty fortunate we've got the exhaust and stuff on it. It's what it's going to boil down to is how much detail we can put in this. Lee at TimeRider's Wee Little Cars. This build is being brought to you by him, and the idea is using the Hudson Hornet to celebrate the Daytona 500. And using the car, it's a build like what we would do as a shop owner. So, say Deep Junk Garage in 1952 is going to go racing on the sands of Daytona. You go down, you buy yourself a Hudson Hornet. What do you do with it? What's it going to look like? The factory cars had the fabulous Hudson Hornet on them. Though this is, got Hudson Hornet on it. But I don't believe Deep Junk Garage is going to be factory backed. So this, again, making a stock car out of a stock car isn't going to be that out there or that hard of a job. It's going to be how much detail we can throw into it and make it our own. So we've got the basics set out here. We do have those steel wheels that are on this, but I don't like these things. It looks like a low profile, like a later model wheel, and also looks like a Mopar, kind of a rally. Have to ditch those for a real wheel, something more fitting. Black out the chassis, do a lot of detailing. Same with the interior. It just make it our own. Stay tuned. Already after Hudson's one-nighter with a stripper. I've worked on the passenger side of the car here a little bit. Wanted to show you the basic, well, the bad parts of the car. The casting marks were up on the hood, and that's this here is still left. I've worked it off the passenger side, but this, you can see we've got a spear, a chrome trim piece right above the headlight, and over here it's starting to disappear. That didn't take a whole lot of elbow grease at all. In fact, I didn't even sand this upper part. That was green scuff pad. So you've really got to be aware of what you're hitting, how much pressure you're putting on it. And if I'd have hit that with sandpaper, I think that the trim around the headlight and that spear up top would be gone. We've got that Hudson emblem. It's on the fender. Got our spear there, and then we've got one, it's a triangular emblem on the front. Oop, there we go, of the hood. And we got to be aware of that stuff, not to make it disappear. So I've used the file, the point, and to get in here and keep a nice hood line. I have to do the same thing over here while I'm trying to get rid of the casting line on the edge of the hood, without taking all our detail and doing away with it. Other than that, we've got the chassis. I mixed up some black, thinned it out, and then put it in the low parts. I'll go ahead and spray it black and then unmask the bumpers and start picking out detail on the chassis. Interior isn't going to be a whole lot there. I don't know what we're going to do in there yet, but there's not a whole lot to work with. And I have a wheel and tire, just a real rider on a steel wheel. We'll paint those. I got to pick a color out yet, something that says 1950s Hudson.
Alright, our Hudson is getting close to paint time. Still have a little body work left to do on this. The casting line is gone, but if you can see, yeah, there it is. Right up on the edge of the hood where that light is shining on, we've got a hole in the casting there. We won't be able to sand that out. We're going to have to fill that. But most everything else, the casting line, the roof, the sides, is looking good. So we'll get that hood fixed and then get it in primer, get that color sanded and straight, and then I do have a color picked out for the car. It's nothing modern. It looks like it could have been on one in the 50s, but it's not real drab either. It'll give the car some life. It's sitting right where Hot Wheels set the car as far as stance. That's where the Hudson should be. They always look a little low. So we're going to leave it set like that. It looks good. The chassis is all blacked out, ready for detail under there. And the interior, we'll try to get as much detail in there as possible. I have not decided on a number for the car or any kind of graphics or anything like that. In fact, I think it's just going to be one color. I thought maybe about a two-tone, the roof line or something, you know, the roof being a different color. I guess I'll know when I see it in color if I want to two-tone it or not, but we're on our way, guys. On the chassis of the Hudson, like I said, I mixed up some black, thinned it out real good, and did all the up inside, like around the engine and the rear end, and masked everything off, the rockers and the front and rear bumper, and then painted it. And I did the exhaust and the engine and transmission in a flat aluminum. And what I'm going to do, the engine and transmission are, from what I've seen in some pictures, the Hudson engine color on that twin H power 6-cylinder is gold. So, and they did the, sorry, the camera's shaking around. They did the engine and the transmission both in the same gold color. So I did the flat aluminum, and I'll come back over with a gold that I want to try. It's not gold, it's actually what I use on 25th scale models for carburetors. It has a little bit of green in it, and it looks, I think, more like what the Hudson engine color looks like. So we'll do that on the engine and transmission. We've got the exhaust done. I'll probably throw in some contrasting black on the front and rear suspension. We've got to do our wheels yet, bodies and paint, and we're getting close on this one, guys. Alrighty, guys. The year is 1952, and I want to go stock car racing. The problem is Deep Junk Garage doesn't have deep pockets. So what do? We go down the road to the Ford dealership. They've got V8 engines. The flathead V8s run pretty good. They only make 110 horse, and the handling's not so great. So we run across the street to Chevrolet, and I'm a Chevy guy, but the Stove Bolt 6 doesn't offer much power, and the handling sucks. We go up the street to Cadillac. Overhead valve engines, lots of power. Just a little too expensive for us at Deep Junk. So come back down the street, maybe wander through Packard and Edsel, but we wind up at a Hudson dealer, and this baby sitting on the showroom floor. Twin H powered 6-cylinder, twin carb, 145 horse, low center of gravity, the interior and the floor pan slung low between the rockers. It's pretty much a race car right out of the box. We take it home, tape up the headlights, strap down the hood, get your favorite football helmet, pop the hubcaps off, put your number on there, and some decals on the side, your sponsor decals, and maybe a logo on the trunk. Cut that exhaust off, of course. Minimal work, and we're at the races. So this car, first I want to thank Lee at TimeRiders, We Little Cars, for putting the build on. I had done a Matchbox. Hudson was the police car, the sedan. But using these in conjunction with the Daytona 500, it wasn't a large stretch as far as fabrication. We're taking a stock car, making a stock car, but it was good to exercise my mind and what we would build in 1952 if we're going racing. Uh, and this is since I've moved into the new house, I don't have my uh, the vented paint room anymore, so I have to build a paint booth. This is all aerosol can. This is Tamiya TS54 light metallic blue and Tamiya clear. So that's all aerosol. We've got our number 6 on there. Around back is our deep junk logo. And normally I don't mix religion in the cars and that on the channel, or politics or anything like that, but our car, our race car, would represent God and country, so we have a wooden cross draped with the American flag, deep junk. Our Hudson logo back here on the deck, little tail light detail. We've got that our emblems up on the fender. Around front, our headlights are taped up and ready to go. We've got the grill emblem in there in red, a little detail in the in black in the background there, and our turn signals. Of course, we've got get out of the way here. We've got wipers because we are going to be on the beach at Daytona. Maybe a little ocean spray on there. Have to wipe that windshield off. Our chassis is matte black. You saw us, I mixed some black and did the low spots, thinned it out a little bit, and then shot everything, minus the rockers, of course, and our bumpers. Our twin H power engine and transmission in gold, factory color of Hudson engines. Our side exhaust, a little contrasting black on the suspension and the rear end. Real riders, of course, nothing but the best. Those are done in the same color gold as the engine to go with our gold lettering on the deck and the number. It just seemed a natural way to go. It is ready to race. I've got a little connection with Hudson. I've owned over 300 cars, but I've never owned a Hudson. In fact, I've never owned any of what I would consider the other brands, like Packard, like Hudson, like Studebaker, or maybe Edsel. I think the furthest I've strayed from Buicks, Pontiac, Lincoln Mercury, Ford, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge. The furthest I've gone has been American Motors. But my uncle had a dark green Hudson Hornet since before I was born up until the time he passed. It was like a museum piece, only went out on the nicest of days. And years later, I worked in a parts store for better than 5.5, almost 6 years. It was an old Hudson dealership. And our retail spot up front where we sold parts was where the cars actually sat. I believe it was N&N Motors at the time. So it was cool to talk to people who remembered the dealership and seeing pictures of it. And that just the history of the place, the building, and what all had been in there before us. I want to thank everyone for stopping in. I want to thank again Lee, TimeRider Wee Little Cars, for putting it on. Thank you guys for checking it out. I really appreciate it. We've been off with the health thing and moving and all that, and we're back. We're getting ready to. I've got another 2 more cars lined up here ready to go. I don't know how the schedule is going to fall, weekly, bi-weekly, but stay tuned. We've got some more. I don't have any builds or anything like that coming up, so it's just going to be. I'm just going to pick out a couple cars and let my mind wander. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it, and we will see you on the next one.